Now, dangerous.
Yes.
We love when this man comes in because he's a proper Geelong forward and kicked nearly 800 goals, five-time All-Australian, all the rest of it. But
Yes.
he also kicked a proper goal after the siren.
Against
one
Hawthorn.
that actually mattered and one that was from downtown. Hawk, welcome to you.
Thank you, JB and Bill. It's good to be here.
So
First
where's
time in studio.
We're sick of hearing his crap bloody goal after the siren, which was from the top of the goal square. Yours was actually from outside 50.
Yeah, it was. It was well and truly outside 50. But you've still got to kick him,
You do.
JB. And I have been on the end of missing one too. Not to... I'm conscious of blowing his tyres up.
Don't do
here,
it
Bill,
then.
but,
Because he used to look up. I was a mentor.
No, it wouldn't have been.
I was a mentor.
Well, a mentor, a hero of mine growing up, and even I've lent on him a little bit after football, and just in terms of obviously key
Not making
forwards
an
and
idiot of yourself.
media, also just some health advice that I've taken a bit too literally.
Actually, give me
a
a,
little
look
bit
at
too
you.
literally.
Let's have a look at him. I'm going to have a look at him. Right.
You're on.
Oh, look at those thunder thighs, Jim. Have a look at it. Pitch test. Oh,
Yeah,
not bad.
not
Guts,
bad.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Actually, it's disappointing. You look all right.
No, looks can be deceiving, and I'm glad I'm playing this week at Beaufort, but I'm glad they're not putting their weights in the in the record, Bill, because I'd have to change that from my last year's playing weight.
Tell us about Beaufort. How are they going? What competition
the
are
Carlton
they in?
draft?
Yeah, Carlton draft, of course, where Hawk was draft number 1, ahead of Delidio and Cloak and Pavlich and Schofield. He's playing for Beaufort this Saturday. How they go? What comp are they in there, Hawk? And what colours?
They're the Crows,
Right.
so I'll let you be creative and think of the colour.
Yes.
Scheme there, but they're in the Central Highlands, I think.
He's just looked that up. He's done well.
No, they've won one game.
One game.
And Hepburn Springs, who we play this week, have won one game.
Oh.
Who historically have been pretty strong, but I know this because I was just speaking to Nick Frank, who's the president on the way down the highway.
Well
I know him from meeting him at all places at a cattle sale in Fairbet, Ballarat. So he's a lovely guy, and I'm really looking forward to it. I'm certainly not, maybe not prepared in the best possible way, but that's okay.
Is it like riding a bike, Hawk? Once you get back out there, you just played for Finley. Is it?
Yes.
Does it all muscle memory back into you?
I can't say it does because I used to do this thing when I played football, and I did it early in the Finley game, right? So my mind is still thinking like I'm playing AFL football, but I had my opponent on my back shoulder, and I used to love sort of spinning around. And I know there'll be a few of the opposition listening in, no doubt, of this week's game, but I used to get in front and do this spin move, get behind my opponent and work them under the ball. No hands in the back, but work under
just
the
keep
ball.
them under, yeah.
And take the mark over the back, which I did plenty of times at training, and then tried to implement in the game. And I did that early in the Finley game, like the first 5 minutes, and spun, took my first step, fell over, and had a laugh to myself. So it certainly wasn't muscle memory, but it's sort of working. The brain works just like it did when I was playing. I did get one bit of advice from someone from Finley who played sort of 52s games and 50 senior games.
Jack Jewell?
Yeah, I think it was.
Was
I think
it?
it was. Oh. And he said, stay in the goal square. Like, you won't move today. I was like, mate, I've played over 300 games at the Cats.
Yeah.
I'll do what I want. And I ended up running around too much. And I thought to myself after the game, we won, which was good. And kicked a couple of goals, but I thought that bloke was spot on. I should have parked myself at full forward and just stayed there. So I think there'll be a bit of that on Saturday.
Well, I spoke recently to Ben Cunnington, who we say hello to, by the way, because he's had his health issues, but one of the great blokes.
Down there in the Western
Yeah, that's
District.
it. And he played a season for one of the Warrnambool clubs and did exactly that, he said. I never moved beyond the chalk of the goal square. And I said I just stood there and pointed to which side I wanted the ball kicked, and that was it.
Yeah. But so great to get home like that, like he did. But you went back to the farm for a few days, didn't you? On Jack's farm.
Yeah, to Finley I did. Well, Easter weekend, and they play this traditional rival, Finley versus Denny. On Good Friday.
They're bunches. Afterwards.
Yeah, I
The
think
pub?
the Denny guys go back to bunches for the awards.
Why do they call it that?
Yeah, I don't think we'll go there, Bill, but anyway.
Not sure. Not sure.
Anyway, you went
Cold
home.
beer there though. Went home and it was really good because I've been playing for Geelong for 18 years and hadn't been able to have an Easter because of the Hawthorn clash on Easter Monday. So it was really nice. Spent a bit of time with the family and got a bit of work in and played a game of footy. So it was great fun.
4 goals. Oh, Jacksons, the Shannons, the Brains.
Yes, I played with Matt Jackson, who I went to school with. I was, as a kid, played a lot of junior footy with. I was able to play with him for the first time in senior footy. So, yeah, it was great fun. A big crowd.
Yeah. Cats colours.
So, I'm hoping that it's going to be a rinse and repeat for this weekend. I know they're very excited in and around the area, and it's amazing how many people you speak to that say that they're going to come along and bring the kids. So it should be a great day. 17 degrees. I'd love 2 inches of rain after the game, but it'll be a bit of fun.
Yeah. We're going to get to that in the next segment. Now, how is the old boy? The great jumping Jack.
Jumping as well. Not doing so much jumping anymore, but he's really well up on the family farm in Finley.
Still on the tools?
Yep. Yeah, he
in
is.
the pub.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he's in the country club.
Yeah, country club,
Jim. Up at Finley. He and his brother-in-law, Jim Jewell, they own the pub in Finley. So they love that. I mean, they've been part of the community forever, and pubs are meeting grounds to socialise as our football club. So it brings together people in the community, which they love.
Exactly. Good pub. There's about 3 pubs that are all around the country club, aren't they? It's unbelievable, Finley, this little town.
Yeah.
We all went to school there. So
yes, we did.
The Drillery boys and the Finley boys.
Yep.
We spoke about this, a veranda. We had the Drillery veranda. Finley didn't have one.
No, well, I sort of think we roamed a bit. We weren't so insular like the Drillery and Berrigan and Tokemore boys.
Well, but Hawk then went down to Melbourne Grammar.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I graduated from Finley in grade 8.
Scholarship?
No, full fee paying. Cricket.
The old man would have sent a couple of cows up.
Maybe. That's not why we're here. But love my. I love Melbourne Grammar. I actually caught up with Xavier. I've been over in the West and caught up with Xav, which was great to see. And I love my time at Melbourne Grammar. It was amazing. It sort of actually laid a really good platform for going to a footy club environment.
Mate, so I remember playing in a charity game of cricket at Melbourne Grammar when you were in year 12, I reckon.
Yep.
And I'm standing there.
You?
I know. Well, they were raising money for something or another. Anyway, I don't know what. Well, at least I had played the game previously.
Yes,
most of the other bananas out there. Well, actually, Tony Dottermate also played. But I remember sitting with one of your main teachers. And I saw Hawk wandering out with his uniform on. I said, look at the size of that. He goes, no, he'll go very high in the draft, but he'll go to Geelong because of your dad. Hey, let's have a little break because we need to talk about a very serious issue with Hawk next.
Games record holder at Geelong. 359, 796 goals. One of the greats.
Bloody oath. No, never in question. Now, Hawk, you're a product of the farm. And, of course, you've got your own mini version of it.
Yes.
But we've got to pause and just hand on our thoughts to all the amazing farmers because they're doing it bloody tough at the minute.
Yeah, they are. There's certainly been lots of challenges. I mean, there always is in the agriculture industry. But, like, you look at Beaufort as an example being sort of central Victoria. I'm not sure if it's been declared a drought, but it's been a really tough and dry 12 to 18 months. So they feel it, those communities, and this is why this game's going to be so good. But there's been limited rain and increase in output costs. And I suppose maybe the fortunate things are that livestock prices have actually held up okay. But you speak to a lot of people, and I mentioned, I think a bit earlier about speaking to the president on the way up here, and he was talking about a load of hay that he just got that's going to last him a month, but then after that is dried up from the source that he got it from. So there's a lot of people, doing it really tough. And then you look at our northern states in New South Wales and Victoria, and they're being hit by the floods. So it's always ever changing and challenging for farmers and for lots of different reasons. So this is why the game's going to be really important, just to be able to get them together and connect and socialise and just catch up.
I didn't know that 65% of Australia's milk comes from Victoria.
Yes.
And the dairy farmers, especially out in the West, are doing it real tough.
And Strathmerton, my mate Jules Pinnock.
Yes.
So all of a sudden now they're bringing in hay, paying for hay, and then they've got to bring in water. Some of them have got to pay to bring in water, which is just unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean that's the challenge, and then it's do you continue to have the same number in your herd? If we'll call it 100, you might only be able to afford to feed to get the production milk wise out of sort of 70 or 80. So then you have to sell them on, but then the seasons eventually will turn and we'll be back to a good year weather wise and rainfall wise and then that spikes in prices. So it's just ever changing, ever challenging, and they're pretty. They're very tough and resilient people and the dairy. I mean, they just don't stop. They're milking morning
Twice
and night,
a day,
7 days a week.
Speaking of tough and resilient, Fat, we spoke to Sam Collins for an interview coming up on the weekend. Big, rough, tough bloody fullback from the Gold Coast Suns. I've spoken to Moons many times about Scott Thompson from North Melbourne. He said he was a nightmare. He just used to pinch and scratch. And who, now that you've finished your glorious career, Hawk, who was the one that was the worst to play on? Now that you look back, the big fullbacks.
Sam Collins is a very, very underrated player. Now that you mention his name, he's tough and strong and got speed and hits hard. He's one of those players that hits really hard. I've come up against some great players. Alex Rance, not so much the guys that pinched and stepped on toes. I think maybe my generation of football just missed that. Although I did play this when Tassie were in the VFL competition in my first year. I can never remember his name. He wore number 16, sort of a mini version of Jonathan Brown.
Yep.
And he stood on my toes and told me a few choice words.
Stood on his toes.
Pinched me and I had.
Come on, all.
I usually have someone that helped me out and protected me, but not that day. So
I wonder who that was for Tassie.
Yeah.
16.
Yeah,
it would have only been sort of 190. I just sat under, but I played against some great players.
There's a name, Alex Rance. He was a bloody superstar, and then he's just left the game, hasn't he?
Well, he does some work at the Gold Coast Suns, so every now and then you see him on the bench up there, reunited with Dimmer and Sean Grigg, who's gone up there as well, along with some other players. So I'm not sure of his official title, but a player that obviously for his own reasons left the game, but. Still had a lot in football in him. Boy, wasn't he a player?
Good looking boy too,
and good looking.
Swarthy.
Not as good looking.
No. I saw him on the bench the other day.
You reckon
he'd turn a few?
He's better looking. He's better looking than you.
Yeah, absolutely.
How's Emma, by the way? Your lovely wife. I did see her the other day, Jim, and I couldn't wait to ask her because Tomahawk's doing a few things now. He's very busy, and I went up there and I said, "Is your husband ever home?" And that just set her off. Oh, no. You should have seen. She went berserk. He's never home. I've got to look after the kids. I've got to do this. I've got to do that.
She was. I think it's been more of an adjustment, probably finishing football for her than it has been me. I mean, everyone talks about this cultural thing about Geelong is where when I played there, I was able to be pretty hands-on. And you see, that's why you see so many players go there and thrive because there's a program that's in place that allows them to get out and be themselves, but it's a different world, it's a different challenge. But she I think she would like me home a little bit more than I am. But in saying that, if I was home too much, she'd probably get sick of me.
Yes, of course. Now I've got to ask you about speaking about bloody tough days. Yesterday you went to Perth for the service of Adam Selwood. How did all that go, mate?
Yeah, it was really tough. It's been well documented about what's happened to the Selwood family and by association with being one of Joel's best friends, it's been really challenging. No more so than for them. And look, Emma and I went over a couple of days earlier just to support where we could, but tragic event, celebrated a life that was full and had so many wonderful memories and great connections, both players, people that he'd connected with in Perth. So it was extremely sad, but a life that was celebrated. So it was tough. It was tough.
Yeah.
Our thoughts go out, of course, as does all of the Rush Hour family. Now, Carlton draft, of course, the number one. There was never anyone else going number one.
No doubt about that.
I can't believe a couple of these blokes have actually put their hand up. Super Pav,
Yes.
he's got to be in his early 50s.
And still looks good.
Still
buddy.
looks
Yeah.
buddy. I bet he's great off a touch, Pav. But you are playing for the Beaufort Crows this Saturday. Where is that, by the way? At a home game?
Yes, it's a home game.
All
Yeah,
right.
the Beaufort
Get along.
Recreation Reserve.
Oh, well done, well done,
think.
Hawk, yeah.
Yeah, it'll be a great game. Yeah, you're right. I mean, I'm first year out of the game, so I don't know if I needed to turn up to draft night, but that comes with a bit of pressure.
Bloody
Gee,
oath it
number
does.
one.
So go number one, and sort of no father and son rules in the Carlton draft, so I wasn't able to slip up into the third round. But as I said, I am really looking forward to it. I got a taste for it at Finley and know the impact and that it has in the community. So can't wait. I'm going to be sore for a few days after. I've got to work the next day.
As long as there's no Nathan Buckley or Joey Montagna.
Yeah,
mean,
so
doing
there's
hammies
doing
and things.
hammies.
yeah, I've actually booked myself in for a little massage tomorrow.
Have you?
Just to loosen up.
I'd
the
go after the
hamstrings.
game, Tom.
Just to loosen the hamstrings up, Bill.
Right,
Loosen
all
them
right
up.
then.
All right, Hawk. Great seeing you, mate. Enjoy that on the weekend.
Thank you very much.